it going, everybody? We welcome you to Hawai'i Football. Now, it is episode 100. That's right. We'll play the air horns in the background and pop some imaginary confetti and the like. Jordan Helly, Hunter Hughes back with you. Our guy Jonathan on the controls producing our episode back from Vegas. A bunch of great content you can check out on our ESPN Honolulu platforms that Jonathan and the crew have been working on. We record this Tuesday morning, July 25th. It's about 9:45 a.m. Hawaii time. Just got off the call with Coach Timmy Chang. That's right. Coach Timmy, our guest here on episode 100, as we are set to release this on Thursday, July 27th. 100 straight weeks, Hunter. We've been at this, man. It's been a little while, but I got to tell you, man, it hasn't gotten old one bit. Like they gave us basically an hour every week to talk UH football. Like it's not a bad gig.
Man, when you think back, like it's one episode a week, and so there's 52 weeks in a year. So we've been doing this for more than 2 years now. And that first season, man, wasn't sure what was quite going to go down with the just 40-foot overhead waves that was Hawai'i football, man, and just getting thrown around in the washing machine. And you and I off camera were like, what are we going to talk about in the off season? And then off season was crazy with Coach Graham leaving and then Coach Timmy coming in. And yeah, man, it's been one of, like, I don't know, like that one of the highlights of my week, getting up early on a Wednesday. Today's a Tuesday, but week in, week out, it's you guys have been part of my rhythm, man. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, same, man. It has been it's something I look forward to. Like, again, this is fun. Like, this isn't work for us.
Oh, it
one
does
bit.
not work.
Our guys, whether it's been Jonathan Salvador, who's done a terrific job for us. I don't even know what episode Jonathan jumped on, but it feels like it's been a while now. Jared Kobashigawa, our guy Keegan, Ota, all the way back to Ku'u, all the way back to Kule Agbayani, who got us started like 2 years ago, crazy enough. That have been the real stars behind the scenes of this humble podcast. Shout out to our sponsors as well, Spectrum Mobile, HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union as well.
And shout out to the fans. Sorry, like the people that have been supporting us. Like, this show does not exist without you guys. You are a part of our family. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a part of the brotherhood at UH. Like, it's all together. And from like myself and Jordan and our entire ESPN Honolulu Ohana, like, we just want to say thank you. Can't believe it, man. 100 episodes. It's wild.
No, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think the cool thing about this podcast that we've been lucky enough to shepherd now for like 100 episodes still blows my mind. I think it gives, it provides a bit of a connective tissue between the fans and the program, right? I think because we're on weekly, it gives folks an opportunity to kind of stay connected, right? Even throughout the off season, maybe more importantly than any time throughout the year. This particular coaching staff has been really gracious with their time. We've been able to get most of the coaches on at one point or another. We've got Timmy coming up here in just a second. It's been really cool. I just ran into, I played golf on Sunday, Hunter, and ran into a guy at the 19th hole over at Manoli's in Wailea. Big Josh, Maui High grad, kind of came by and he was like, hey, man, listen to the pod every week. He said he makes his, very humble, annual donation to Nakua. He's a supporter, man. He loves it. He loves Hawaii football. He's like a late 90s, I think he said, Maui High graduate, just big dude. Definitely probably could have suited up for UH at some point. Really cool, brother. So shout out to Josh over at Manoli's. He'll take care of you if you're down in Wailea, or maybe get off a round at the Blue to go check that out. But it was cool, man. Like those are the interactions we love. We love running into folks. We love, I love how many people, and it always, I think, it still surprises me a little bit, even if, we're kind of in the thick of it. But I think it would surprise even others, just how many people, not tooting our own horn, but just are interested in Hawaii football, like are like follow the program. You know, I don't think Hawaii fans get enough credit for their level of fandom, if you will. It's really fun to run into folks just by happenstance and hear about their interest, their connection, their love for the program. It's awesome, and you know, largely why we do this, and we'll get into a lot of your comments in the second half of today's pod. So yeah, man, this is a special one for us. We get Timmy on, we get a you know, show some shakas to the fans as well. And all, as we mentioned, it's also a big week. Just before we got Timmy coming up here in just a second, but before we get there, Hunter, training camp starts tomorrow. Again, we recorded this on Tuesday. Training camp starts on Wednesday. Thursday is like the first real practice, if you will. They've modified their schedule a little bit. You can kind of catch the schedule online, but basically they're mimicking game weeks, right? Certain days are lighter, certain days are walkthroughs, certain days are full practices. End of the week will be real full go, kind of simulating game situations and whatnot. Their first practice in Ching will be this Saturday. And so not every practice, if you will, not every session will be open to the public, but all the full practice sessions are kind of like very similar to last year. So opportunity for the fans to go down to Manoa and check out the team as they get training camp underway. This is like, we're in it now, Hunter. This season's upon us.
Man, yeah, the dog days of summer. I mean, today's kind of the last one, and football officially begins tomorrow. And friends of mine will be like, "Hey, man, how's life?" I'm like, "It's pretty chill right now." They're like, "What do you mean right now?" I'm like, "It's about to get wild here in, you know, the next week." And us and Coach Chang, we talk about that. We talked about that off the air, just how the sports calendar, it really gets pumping here at the end of July, beginning of August, and before you know it, you're somewhere in the middle of October, and we're in the middle of season at that point. So yeah, to me, this is one of the best times of the entire year when it comes to sports. Obviously one of the best times for University of Hawaii and Hawaii sports, and so much to look forward to. And yeah, I'm kind of gushing right now, Jordan, the fact that we made it to 100 episodes, man, the fact that they still let us do this, that we haven't they haven't canceled us yet, because I'll just speak for myself. Just a couple idiots over here. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the management, bless them, they've said, you know, you guys can take a week off here or there, but now we're in the season, so there's no way we're taking a week off until like probably after you know, until after maybe like the signing period. Who knows? We're gonna keep going as long as they let us. Next week we'll see you on episode 101. All right, without further ado, we want to remind you that Hawaii Football Now is brought to you by HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union. Originally opened in 1936 as a credit union for educators, HawaiiUSA has inspired a culture of giving that is rooted in education and has since become Hawaii's largest credit union and expanded to other areas of community need that impact financial health, including healthcare, housing, and hunger. To learn more, please visit HawaiiUSAFCU.com. All right, game time coming up. We got Coach Timmy Chang on the other side. You listen to Hawaii Football Now. All right, Coach, thanks a lot, man. I know you probably lost count of how many interviews you did last week up at Media Days in Vegas. So we appreciate you jumping back on the Zoom and jumping back on the pod, man. 100. We are 100 episodes deep. We had you at episode 50. You said you'd be back for episode 100. So I got to thank you, man. You're a man of your word. It's a busy time. You guys start training camp tomorrow. We record this on Tuesday, the 25th. We appreciate you, man. We know you're busy, and we'll just keep this a standing invitation every like 50 episodes or so.
No doubt. And congratulations on your guys' 100th episode. It's, you know, we want this longevity. Every 50, invite me on, man. I told you I want to be here for the 2000 episode, and so congratulations, guys. And you guys got a great show. My wife says she watches you guys all the time on Thursday. And so,
wow.
Yeah.
That means
no pressure. All right. Yeah. No pressure added to this.
Oh.
Yes. We love that, man. That's awesome. We appreciate it, first of all. But you know, for you guys, I guess, you know, before we kind of dive into where we're going forward, you know, episode 50, I think we asked you kind of where you were at. You were basically a year into the job. You know, episode 100 now, you're heading into year 2 Kind of what, maybe what's the biggest thing that you've kind of learned along the way of being a head coach now that you're at this point, basically 18 months into the job, on the precipice of starting your second training camp. But what's kind of maybe the biggest couple of things you've picked up along the way that, maybe you didn't quite know going in, or you kind of had to learn by just doing the job?
Yeah, you really learn by the everyday responsibilities and understanding, what your job is, what your role is. And really this job, it's problem solving every day, right? There's the direction of what you want your team to head. And how what winning looks like. You know what the standard of winning looks like. And then now it's about going out there and executing it. And really, I got a great staff, a great support staff. There's a great athletic department here that wants to see us win. And so, it definitely has its challenges, but at the same time, you learn to just problem solve along the way, and to make these things happen. Really, when we talk about a year ago, going into the 50th episode, I didn't know what type of team I had. I didn't know, where the state of the team was as far as, mental, physical, being able to execute on the field. And really quickly as we finished camping, played Vanderbilt, that's who we are. It's what we were. And you got to go into, again, problem solving mode, right? How do we put ourselves in position? Where do we have to pick up the pieces, and what positions to put guys in position to be successful? We changed the scheme, offensively to what, the state really knew, and I know, and what I grew up doing. And that's all part of it. That's all part of the growth. I thought last year at some point, especially after New Mexico State going on the bye week, we as a team, we just had to we had to decide what type of team we wanted to be. By no means did it end up equating to wins, and that's why you got to go out and recruit, and you got to bring in guys that are going to help, and again hold the standard, and hold the standard in the conference, and guys that you think are going to be in position to help you win games. But definitely, there were a lot of building blocks, and a lot of the foundation was set on what type of team we wanted to be, and how we want to represent ourselves. And then this off season was all about hard work, man. And we really had to hit the ground running, and really find ourselves, and execute, and being detailed, but being really resilient, being tough minded. I mean, this sport ain't easy. Winning ain't easy, and I tell those guys that every time. But I tell you what, football is like for me, and for a lot of guys that play sports, and women that play sports, and people that have, and Hunter, you could, talk about it too, is, the lessons you learn as an athlete or student athlete, and the ups and downs, and the trials, and the joy, and the hard work, and the work ethic, and the dedication, that all translates to the next stage of life. And so, that's the beauty about this game, and getting to work with these guys. I'll say this: I really like our guys. I like our guys in our locker room. And as they continue to grow, I think that's the biggest thing to take the next step to winning ball games.
Coach, you brought up recruiting, and that's part of the game within the game. Whenever you guys are, on the coaching staff, and you guys would never brag on yourselves, so let us brag on you just for a second. With this last year, you guys have been killing it, and really, it really just boils down, in my observation, to you guys just being yourselves. And the contrast with some of the previous regimes. I played under Chow. He came from Power 5, kind of the roll out the red carpet, that kind of a recruiting style and gesture, doesn't always bode well out here. And my observation with you guys is just to be you, to be the brotherhood. I mean, you guys are doing barbecues at the beach. I mean, you brought Devon Rice out at the Sandies, which is questionable, by the way. I mean, he could get thrown in those waves, but you're like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing life. And it's got to feel good that in some ways that is working in the recruiting game?
Sure. I think you know, I think we control what we can, and you know, when I first got here, a lot of people talked about the stadium and how it would hurt us and those type of things, and that's okay. You know, but that's not the things we focus on. You know, we really do just focus on the things that we do have, the things that we do have to offer. And in all honesty, this program, this state, and our people are special. You know, we're unique. We are isolated and special for what we are, who we are, what we do here. And that says a lot. We're very prideful. I really think, as I go out to the community and my kids are like involved in all the sports and all the athletics, like we are blessed to have such a competitive culture and families that want their kids to go out there and just play and just have fun. And the kids love having play. Like, you roll out a ball on a field, man, the kids, 20 kids, 40 kids, 30 kids, you roll a ball on the street, you know, these kids are gonna have fun just playing the game. And in all honesty, we benefit from that. And so, you know, that's kind of where the recruiting really starts. The recruiting really starts in the streets of, you know, of Waipahu and Waimanalo and Kailua, Kaneohe, Waianae, downtown. I mean, it starts because of how prideful, how competitive, how much fun people just have playing as little kids, and really they just continue to grow. Not to mean like, not to say all of the kids are gonna come and be Division I athletes or play collegiate or professional, but that type of culture and atmosphere just kind of breeds you know, this competitiveness, and really we as a program and as an athletic program, we benefit off of that. And that's why it's so good, and that's why we do all these camps. We get out in the community, we just try to give back as much as you can, and just try to be around these guys and just have fun with them, have fun with the kids, have fun with the, you know, the young boys and girls, because those are our future. Rather, if they play sports or they don't play sports, you know, it's all, we're all a part of it. And you know, I really want this community and the kids to be proud of who we are. And so, you know, it's a good mixture, right? We just talked about all these local kids, and we want them to stay home. We want the best ones to stay home, but they got to want to stay home, right? That's a whole part of it, right? And then you go out there and you go to the you know, the mainland, you go to Canada, you go to New Zealand, Australia, Samoa, you go to all these different places, and then you grab those special ones that want to be a part of it. And then you build this locker room of cohesiveness and love and bond and enjoyment. Like, my biggest thing is, like, I got to tell them, yo, stop fooling around. We got to lock in on the details so we can win these damn games, right? That's like the message. Like, hey, they're going to want to, like, when they get around each other, they're like, man, you know, they're like joking around. It's like, it's just a good vibe around these guys. It's like, hey, listen, well, I know you guys want to have fun, but let's lock in on the details. Let's lock in on the details, because I'll tell you what, when you start winning, it's going to be even funner. So let's just lock in on the details. Let's enjoy each other, but let's get this thing right. And so, you know, and that's the things we sell, Hunter. We don't control anything else. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so much things that we could talk about that can be better. You know, a lot of things that can be better, but for us, it is us. You know, it's understanding, hey, you know, we're going to do this in our scheme. This is what we do here. And this is what we bring to this program and this state. And then we talk about them being here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the road. What does that look like? And all the value and all the lessons and all the things learned through this to help you navigate you through your life. And so, you know, that's a big part of who we are. And that's been successful for us. And really, from here on out, like I tell our guys in our developmental program, it's so huge. Development and recruiting are like hand in hand. And so, like, I'm telling my coaches, like, yo, make sure we call our guys that just left, because we want to know what leagues they're playing in, who they're playing for, because you kind of lose touch a little bit, right? There's so many leagues. There's all these European leagues, right? there's Asian leagues, there's XFL, there's USFL, there's Canada. We have a couple boys. We have guys all situated all around, right? But if guys don't get into their dreams, hey, come back and let's see where we can fit you into the development and still make those connections, and things that we can use to help you navigate through life. And so that's a huge part of it. It's part of the story, right?
Yeah. No, I could talk about that for forever, man, but that's awesome. Coach, real quick, just want to kind of shift towards the team right now. With where we're at right now, the run and shoot for that offense to be successful. Obviously, you know this at length. Both the QB, O-line, running back, and receivers all got to be in sync. It's going to be a big fall camp. Fall camp's always big, but for that synchronization to happen, these next 3 weeks are vital. What's kind of your outlook on that, heading into the next, it's starting up tomorrow?
Yeah, repetition, understanding of defenses, doing it over and over and over and over and over again. I'll tell you what, having gone through a year with those guys, having been in the offensive meeting room with those guys during season last year, at some point, I started running the film sessions and stuff. And so just starting to talk about, how scheme fits into coverage, what a defense is starting to do, where our eyes should be, how our stance should be, getting kind of the fundamental base down. Then having done it with them in February, going through spring ball, understanding, seeing it, doing it in March, we had a lot of time to kind of just lift weights, talk about those things, expand on those things that they saw in February. And then in the summer, they did it again, and they did it. And that this time they kind of did it. They really did it on their own, with the little guidance of us, giving them a script, organizing what days it should be on, times it should be in. And so there was a good turnout. And I'm starting to see those things starting to pay off a lot quicker now. There's going to be some, as we watch them, and then we find a base of where we're at on Wednesday. We're got to kind of fine tune some things, but from February to where we are now, there's definitely a difference, and I'm very pleased with that.
Yeah, it's kind of a I love the aspect of it, obviously the offense, but everything that comes with it, like the marketing, like it's sort of a vibe, like it's a mentality. I think, as you pointed out, like people in the state just know it, I think you guys have talked about it. Like they may not know what the plays are called, but they know exactly what's happening, when certain route combinations are going out there. How much have you kind of enjoyed the added responsibility, I guess, of being a little more hands-on with the offense? Because it's a lot, right? I mean, you're doing all the head coach duties and you're basically running the offense. How has that been for you? And I guess, has it been enjoyable in terms of the added responsibility?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot more added onto the plate, because you got to prepare, you got to script, you got to see again the problems, you got to go try to correct the problems. You're going to have to go in and game plan. You got to get your mind right. 13 different occasions on how you're going to attack. How do you instill in those guys what's going to happen? What are we going to do? How we get on the same page and go out there and put those guys in position? That's my job, and so, handling that with head coaching duties, definitely going to be a task, but, I can't preach to them time management and making great choices without me doing it myself. And so really that's what's going to come down to, right? I just got to manage my time well and make sure that, things get done on the head coaching aspect, but as well as really preparing myself. But I'm excited. It's what I knew, right? I've been in this offense since seventh grade at St. Louis High School, and I believe I counted 11 years that I've actually played in it. And then when I started coaching again, at Mililani High School, and as well as with June and SMU and Coach Dan Morrison, you starting to count the number of years of playing and having coached in it, and really I've like what Coach Rollo did. he brought Dan back. Dan's actually in the other room right now. And we're just talking over some scheme. We're talking about divide right now, divide and divide special, and how we're watching cut-ups of Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders and what they did in the XFL, and as well as, the late great ones with Devon and Grice Mullen and those guys. And so, I mean, there's just an archive of cut-ups that we've kind of just like accumulated, right? We got XFL stuff, we got 2000, 2004, and I was there, and then you got Colts 2005 to 2007. I mean, and then you got Nick and Nick and with Cole McDonald, them, and you got them inside there, and so it's just an archive of run and shoot, and so it's been pretty cool. I'll tell you guys, like, I love the run and shoot, and me going, the last 5 years I've been with Air Raid, and so why is the Air Raid so successful? Why has Mike Leach been so successful? Why has Cliff been so successful? Sonny Cumby, Lincoln Riley, Dana Holgerson. I mean, all these guys have all fallen from an air raid tree, and then you got a handful of us that fallen from this run and shoot tree. I've been blessed to be in both offenses, and I've been blessed to have coached tight ends that are now in the NFL. And so I like my mind of where we're at with the run and shoot, and how can I improve this thing? How can I make it better? And so that's where I'm at, without overcomplicating it, and really just kind of opening the door so that we can try to be one of the best offenses in the country that we know that it can equate to win games.
Yeah, you mentioned all those guys, Cole Brennan, McDonald, yourself, even Rolo back in the day. All those guys had some swag to them. And my observation with Shag heading really into this next year, that has increased with him. And it may not be an absolute trait needed to be successful in the run and shoot, but it certainly helps to almost have that Mustang back there, not afraid to take risks. And, I've seen it on the golf course with him. What's been your observation with his confidence being raised really this last year?
It's needed, right? And it's not just with Shea. It's needed amongst our team, right? That I believe in myself and I believe in my ability, right? And that makes me want to go and do these things. We've had the pleasure of talking to guys like we still have Greg Salas here, right? Who's what did Greg catch for 1,800 yards? I believe it was something ridiculous. And he comes and talks to them, right? About, he tells them, man, I after I caught my, I just wanted to get on the field. Right? After I got on the field, I just wanted to catch the ball. After I caught the ball, I got my first 100-yard game. And after he got his first 100-yard game, man, he wanted more 100-yard games. And so it's that confidence, that building. We had Ashley Laley come and talk to these guys. We had Chris Brown come and talk to these guys. We had, there's a bunch of guys that started to get around the program, and that been at certain levels, that it's a swagger thing, it's a confidence thing. I actually, on the way to media day, I've binge watched that the quarterback, and it was a really good production, and you start to have for all three of those guys, you start to have an unbelievable respect.
I respect Cousins way more now, man.
Yes, you do, because he I mean, just from a cerebral standpoint, just for the preparation and love of the game, what he has to do, and I'm telling you, those playbooks are like thick. They're thick, and so for them to regurgitate what someone's saying, get it out, process the information about where everybody's going, then match it up to what a defense is trying to do, and then go out there and think, okay, these are probably my possibilities within 3.5 seconds. It's like, I mean, it's a task to do it over and over and over. But just like the confidence, right? And you saw Patrick Mahomes, like he has that dog, right? They kept saying, you're a dog. and he is. He didn't want to let his team down. He wanted to do it for the guys. You keep hearing him say, "Hey, let's go do it together. Hey, give me all you got. Hey, let's go do it for each other." It is the same message in that locker room with the brotherhood, and that's what Shager is starting to understand. Is like, hey, let's go get it. Let's go do it for each other. Let's go be there for each other. And I gotta get up. I gotta do it for my guys. I don't want to let them down. And so he's starting to get that. He's starting to understand that. And that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. And really, this summer I really try to stay hands off with them because I really want them to own it. Right? It's you guys. You guys are gonna do it. And so that's been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that kind of taking the ownership. Speaking of swagger, look, a lot of the great UH teams, they had that defensive swagger too. And we'd be remiss to have you on and not talk a little bit about the defense as much as we could talk offense and run and shoot for like 5 more hours. What have you seen from Coach Oral's guys on that side of the football as they, I think starting to morph into maybe what he's got in mind, but what have you seen in terms of growth on the defensive side of the football this offseason?
Yeah, if you guys watch, I know you guys pay attention to all the guys that we pick up. We picked up a lot of defensive guys, on the line, defensive line wise, linebacker, a couple young developmental guys, especially our Bishop Gorman kids. I mean, they're going to be pretty special, right? And they know how to win, and they're the leaders of their teams, nationally ranked, second place, guys that like, man, they're right there. And so, we got some guys in the back end, man. I never thought I'd say, I never thought I'd kind of, I don't remember when Hawaii could say that they had a possibility of playing man coverage, but I think we have enough speed to do it. And so, that's what we wanted. We wanted speed, we wanted size, we wanted guys to hold their weight up front. I think there's a lot of developmental guys within the program that haven't done it yet up front, but there's guys behind our seniors, the Jonah Welches and the Andrew Choi's, but there's guys in there that I think can hold their weight. Guys like Kuau, I think are immediate impact guys. Our linebackers, with Logan Taylor and Isaiah Tufonga, I think they're going to be special. They're a special duel inside there, and then they got depth behind those guys. And then at the corner position, having Verdell back is huge. Verdell's a big corner, man, and he's a problem, And then at the addition to Cam Stone, we've been deeper at corner than I think we've ever been. JoJo Forrest, Caleb Brown, in the back end, you got Peter Manuma coming back, you got Mekhi Pei coming back, Matongi Thompson coming back. You got the additions to CJ Williams as well as Justin Sinclair. And so there's added depth around that defense, which we wanted. You know what I mean? If as a run and shoot guy, and playing in the offense, one thing that always stuck with me when I was playing quarterback is like, okay, we're gonna move the ball and we're gonna throw the ball and we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna do these things. This offense is gonna move the ball. If we have a solid enough defense and we got personnel that has speed, has size, that can run, that can go, and we're good in special teams. Now you have the whole three-headed kind of deal where you're gonna be okay. And so, but the thing about it is again, when we go back to confidence and doing it, and these guys having confidence in themselves and doing it, and know that they can play at this level. That's all what they need.
Yeah, I think a lot of those new names in particular are going to get people really excited when you guys get on the field. And speaking of the field, I know we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but what are your thoughts on the new stadium, or at least the expanded stadium, I guess, there at Ching? Yeah, I know it's like right out your window. It looks, I haven't been down there just yet to see the added seats and the board and everything like that. But I tell you what, it looks really good online, like the social media posts and everything else. It kind of feels a little more, like a permanent home, if you will. And I'm not saying like that's the 50 years down the road UH will be playing there or anything like that, but it kind of feels like, you know, you can kind of get comfortable and move in, if you will. You can start unpacking some of the moving boxes.
Yeah, I think for one, I think it's pretty cool that it's on our campus, right? And it brings that environment, it has a feel of a college campus feel. And so that for one is pretty beautiful. It's pretty it's a good feeling. But it looks really good. I mean, I don't have a view of the field anymore. I'm looking at a grandstand now. The board looked really good. I think they did a special on it yesterday. You know, I haven't been in there when the music was loud, and I haven't heard my team. My team got to throw in there on Wednesday last week. It was the last player run practice, PRP. And so they said when Coach Cody said when they blew the whistle, I mean, it kind of echoed in there because of the metal. And so it has that feel from it, like the sound is bouncing off of each other. And it's bigger. And it wraps around and it kind of closes on one side. I'm thinking, man, you're probably going to want to close out the other side to really get that whole engulf feel on top of that. And if you could do that, what is that? An extra 5,000 seats, maybe? But that, again, control what we can. But it looks pretty good, man. I keep looking out my window and it excites me. But I think we'll be even more excited come Friday against Stanford, and we really get to see the people in here and really have an environment that everybody can enjoy. I mean, I think that's what I miss most about Aloha Stadium. One, I miss playing in the stadium, yes, and having the fans scream and throw confetti and all those different things, man. I mean, we used to throw those little long ago. We used to throw those cassette rolls and stuff, and those things used to fly, man. Oh man, and but. And then of course the tailgating part of it, and then with the tailgating, right? It's the barbecue, it's the interaction, it's the having the family, having the kids, right? It's playing cards, it's throwing corno, it's playing football on the street. So we can get an environment like that back around. I just think it's just going to be all the better for us.
Yeah, and I don't like the adage out there of, oh, just wait till 2028 or 2029 until we get the stadium. Like, we've got this pocket of time that we got to take advantage of right now, and there's some unique opportunities to incorporate upper campus, lower campus. And Coach, I would never do this unless I really felt like it was a good idea, but I've got an idea. Back in the Chow era, we did the band walk. Okay, we would park and walk through the band to go into the stadium. If we brought the guys in the buses and we brought them to like where the law building is, and they walked on the top part of the structure and then down the escalators into lower campus, there'd be a way for us to incorporate upper into lower campus on game day. I don't know what you guys' day of environment looks like with the buses and stuff, but just thinking of a way to incorporate the guys, the fans, in kind of that limited space down there on lower campus.
I like that. I really, really do. I really do. You're saying stop the buses on Doe Street.
That's right.
Then they walk
right down,
and then align everybody going right down.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be pretty damn cool. That would be pretty damn cool. Because really, when I think about the game day experience, I mean, that whole law all the way down, going all the way to the campus center, could be lined with, whatever vendors and whatever.
Merch, like get merch sales going, sure, like up at campus center, like, sure. And it wouldn't be all that much more of a walk for the boys because it's like a 200-yard walk and then you're on escalators. So it's just an idea, but it was something I'm like, you know what, I got to throw that by Coach.
Sure. That's those are things that in the big picture, like that. I would love to see that. I would love. We're on the topic, Hunter, and I would love to see that even as we go up to upper campus, and then you're coming down that area by Sinclair and that long strip of real estate that just has all the trees and grass and on both sides. I mean, couldn't you see a whole bunch of families families just enjoying themselves and throwing ball and doing all those things out there, and just bringing out, popping up tents and putting out the picnic chairs and enjoying Upper Campus, and not too many people, unless you went to the university or had to do something at the university, you never get to understand how really beautiful that campus is, And I've said it. I've been to other campuses, and some campuses are really nice, but some campuses are not nice 12 months out of the year, And so it's a big difference, right? And so but our beautiful campus, man. I mean, it's really special that it's home for this time, and really we get to share it with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got so much potential. I think that's what gets people thinking outside the box, like our guy Hunter. He's always cooking up something in the kitchen, man. You got to watch out with Hunter. He comes up with a good one every once in a while. Hey, Coach, we don't want to keep Coach Morrison waiting any longer. We know you're probably popping back over to the film room after this, so we'll get you out of here on this. And we just wanted to say thanks. Obviously, again, we know it's a busy time as you guys have training camp coming up. So we really appreciate it, and we'll bother you again soon, man.
No, you guys are never bothering me, man. And boys, congratulations, man. 100th episode. Unreal. Let's go get 100 more and 100 more and 100 more. And that means that you guys are consistent, and it means that you guys are good at what you guys do. And so I enjoy our time together. I can't wait to see you guys. Hunter, can't wait to see you at practice. We'll figure out something for you to do, man.
Yeah, just keep an ice pack ready for him, man.
Yeah. Right on. Much love, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
This is Hawaii Football Now from ESPN Honolulu.
All right, second half time here on episode 100. Hawaii Football Now. Jordan Hunter back with you. Great conversation. We had a lot of fun. I think Timmy would have let us keep going, but we had taken up a good amount of his time. Like, they had meetings set up. We joked about not keeping him from Dan Morrison. They were going over some film clips. Like, there were more important things to do than just talk to us two idiots, as you put it, Hunter. But man, that was a lot of fun. We didn't even hit record when we first started talking to Timmy, and he was rattling off some things and ideas where he was at. The dude loves it. He lives it. And I think you can tell through the interview, right? He's always cooking, and he takes a lot of pride in the fact that he's got this job in this position. It's an exciting time, I think, for this program, kind of in the burgeoning stages of the Chang era. Yeah,
no, for anyone who had doubts on if he was ready, if he was the right fit for University of Hawaii, man, look at what has transpired the last couple of years. And some would say, well, he only won 3 games last year. Well, you're not seeing the full picture. Let me just put it to you that way. I have such optimism for this season, and anytime you get to talk with Coach Chang, and you're looking at the hopes and the dreams of what Hawaii could be whenever you're talking with him. And one thing he mentioned, Jordan, just kind of in passing, I don't know if you caught it, he's like, this could be one of the first times that we could find ourselves playing man defense, which, for those who aren't familiar, you have to have some serious athletes to be able to accomplish that, both on the linebacking side, but also on the pass coverage side with the DBs and the safeties. So that is super exciting to hear that, coach who's been around and seen very, very high levels of football, he wouldn't just say that. So that gets me really excited, Jordan, amidst the many things we talked about with him. That was something I'm like, ooh, that could be really fun.
Yeah, I think the defense will be improved as well. They've definitely emphasized it, as he pointed out. So I'm excited. I'm kind of candidly pretty optimistic about this season. How many wins that equates, we'll end up finding out. All right, we wanted to spend basically the entire second half, or the remainder here, getting into your comments. We got a lot of really good comments over the last couple of weeks in particular. And as Hunter pointed out, man, it's the fan interaction. It's the support that you guys give us that have gotten us to this point, episode 100, crazy enough. Shout out to Boogie over in Waimea on Kauai. Go Minahunis. He dropped us a comment. We'll look at episode 98 here. Said, love listening to you brothers talk Warrior football. The comment dropped to us from Michael, who's been kind of a regular commenter here in terms of Hunter's comments, that Hunter kind of pushed it by Coach Chang there, maybe some ideas, but Michael also agreed with some of Hunter's ideas in terms of maximizing the on-campus experience. Mike Jefferson asking a question, what's up, gang? Will Hawaii be able to compete with this year with the implementation of the run and shoot? Kind of save that question because, we get into that a little bit with Timmy here. I'm optimistic. I think, I'm curious. I guess I'll go from this angle, Hunter. I'm really curious to see how the tight end is utilized, right? Because it's like, tight end is almost like a taboo word for run and shoot purists out here in the state. But I do think, right, you think of guys like Travis Kelce in what the Kansas City Chiefs do. They run a lot of those concepts, man. But just having a bigger body in the slots, Roldo toyed with it a little bit. I'm curious. That's a position, as Timmy pointed out, he has coached before. And so I do think they can find success. But I am curious from that element, maybe more than anything. Besides, how Tylen Hines is going to touch the football. But the tight end, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they would flirt with that idea just for the versatility that it offers your pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to push him out wide or push him in tight, depending on what you need. Us losing Il Manning at the tackle position this last year, our offensive line, like it's a couple tall tasks, some big shoes to fill in that group. And so the tight end position can help with that. Part of the run and shoot is moving from your man beater on one side to your zone beater on the other. That's why the run and shoot is so awesome, is you have an option pretty much with any defense that gets thrown in front of you. So again, haven't seen anything to this measure. Camp doesn't start till tomorrow, but just in my mind, I'm thinking, you could incorporate, a late check down with them where they help with the pass protection. And then after, 3-1,000, jump out to the flat, and it's almost an extended running back check down, if you will. So again, Jordan and I are completely shooting from the hip here, but that gets me kind of excited to see what Coach Chang might incorporate here.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by the possibility, the versatility that a tight end could bring you in that type of offense. Shout out to Mega T-Bone 563 dropping us a line on Gary Allen and clarifying some of his timeline at the University of Hawaii. Mentioned David Toluumu again. What a fun backfield. That was Al from VA, as usual, dropping us all kinds of ideas, including with player merch, NIL, things like that. Ways to stock the bookstore with a few more UH football related things. I like it. I like where he's going with it all. And is looking at maybe coining the Run and Shager little moniker. Try that on for size.
Okay.
As a little play on the run and shoot there. Alpha VA, always in the lab. I like that. Champ Show also dropping us a line. They've been a listener. Shout out to Champ and the guys there. He asks, hey guys, any progress with UH getting a mascot? I think that would enhance the game day experience. Seems like there's no movement on this. Can you get the AD on this? We'll see what kind of meeting we can set up with the AD, Champ. But no, we'll keep throwing it. I don't know. I haven't heard anything new. Like, it kind of been thrown around, I feel like, with the school coming back, and obviously, Vili the Warrior for all those years had been the guy in the Feoko family. But nothing really since kind of the end of that June Mac era. Guys have toyed around with more like a mascot-y, like costume type of deal. It's a little tough. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't heard anything on the notes. You got a new AD. I'm sure he's got new ideas. And he's talked about different ways to improve the fan experience, but I don't believe he's mentioned mascot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, and I'll wait for Timmy to ask me for any other ideas. I already got my one out there for right now. Before I start throwing out, Hawaii's version of Beat the Freeze or anything like that we've talked about on previous episodes. We'll see about that, but it could be fun, Jordan. I wasn't around during the Vili's era, but I think that could be fun to improve the fan experience, as long as it's done well, of course. Right, this team and this staff has really made significant strides to regain honor and regain some weight and importance to Hawaiian culture, and they want to really make sure they do all of that stuff well. So, not saying that you can't do that well if you incorporate a mascot, just I think they're trying to be conscious of all of that.
No, that's a great point. I think it's got to be appropriate, respectful, in all of the above. That's a really good point. All right, moving to some of your comments from last week. Our guy Joseph, given his take, he said it'll be a long season, but better than last year. Expect to see some progress across the board in year 2 of Coach Timmy. Leonard also dropping us a line, said he's getting a little nervous for these games, but a winning season would be great. I like that, man, like a typical Hawaii fan, right? A little optimistic, but also it's like, you want to make sure that it doesn't go poorly when it comes down to it. Our guy Boogie back again. Said he enjoyed the predictions. He said winning enough games to become Hawaii Bowl eligible would be great, but even just an improvement on last year's win total is a success, something to look forward to for the upcoming season. And then Al from V, I love the back and forth sometimes that come out in the comments, guys, sharing some dialogue. And Al from VA, I think, has a little higher bar, perhaps, than Boogie. But Boogie's saying, it's all kind of relative. You got to be realistic with standpoint of, hey, from 3-10 last year, couple wins, 5-8, 6-7. That'd be doubling your win total. That'd be a pretty good deal when it comes down to it. Speaking of Al from VA, he's got an idea for a UH versus UNLV tailgate rally. The previous night, he said they got to set up a rally at Bishop Gorman. Apparently, Bishop Gorman is playing Art Review High School the Friday before the UH-UNLV game. And he's saying it should be mandatory. Get the fans out there, get the team out there, show the Bishop Gorman recruits the love, and a little way to help with recruiting, a little way to drum up some support. I'd say, man, if you're a Hawaii football fan up there, definitely go check out the Gorman game. Go check out Mike Alejandro, Devon Rice, those guys. That's a pretty good little plan there. Alpha VA, man, he's always got something. I like this. I like this a lot. I think if are you going to be up there? You're going to be up there, right, Hunter?
I will be. That's some.
All right. Look out for Al. Tell Al to come find you at the Gorman game the night before.
Yeah, Al, this is your official invite to come holler at me at Allegiant Stadium that weekend if you're planning on being out there. Would love to meet you. Put a name to the face and a face to the mad scientist back here. I mean, Jordan, that's some deep research to find out.
Oh man,
when Bishop Gorman is playing, if they have a home game, that I want to go now. Now that
he's not taking anything for granted, man. We gotta make sure those recruits see the love. They feel the love.
Totally. I mean, I don't want those verbals to have any excuse. Any way that I can play in that, Al, for real. Thank you. Like I'm even like some ideas are coming to mind right now on some merch companies out here that have already kind of helped and sponsored Micah Alejado whenever he was out here. Mm-hmm. There might even be a way to bring some stuff with us, to that game, because I want to nurture that verbal commitment all the way to an official sign any way that I can. So those guys are going to be a big part of Hawaii's future. And yeah, Al, appreciate you, man. That's a great idea.
I love it. Our guy Michael dropping us the line as well, showing us some love. And then he said, except for my comment on Air Force as the best military academy over the last several years, could put an LOL in there. I appreciate it. He gave a well-deserved mention to Coach Jeff Monken, obviously, who's done an awesome job since taking over at Army. Has kind of tilted the scales in that Army-Navy matchup over the last handful of years. And the fact that he started as a grad assistant at the University of Hawaii, so many connections, right, to those service academy. I will point out, though, Air Force did win the Commander-in-Chief trophy last year. Air Force's record, again, 10-3 last year, 10-3 in 2021. They went 3-3 in the weird 2020 season, and 11-2, I believe it was, or 11-1, like 4 seasons ago. They've been good. They've been good. And will be a tough matchup for Hawaii again this year, which leads us to our final comment here, a little question. Pastrami lover, he's dropped this line, or she has dropped this line on a number of occasions. She said, how do you guys think the 2019 team would fare with this schedule? Remember the 2019 team last year under Rolo, 10-5, did really well. Beat Arizona and Oregon State at home. Got kind of worked by Washington on the road. Losses also to Boise State, Air Force, Fresno, and then Boise State again in the conference championship games, but did pick up a win against BYU in the Hawaii Bowl. That big win at home against San Diego State. Big win at Nevada. This year's schedule, what do you think, Hunter? What do you think? Are they doing something similar? That was a good 2019 team. Al from VA chimed in and said he thinks they would go 11-2 against this schedule. I'm a little less optimistic. I'm thinking more like 9-4. It would be my prognostication.
I'm going through our schedule right now. This is a phenomenal question.
It's a great question. Great question. I think they beat Stanford. I don't know if they go on the road and beat Vanderbilt. That's a long trip, man. This is a long trip. First game of the season, they were kind of getting their feet wet a little bit. But I do think Air Force was going to be a tough one at home. This year's season. Yeah, so I feel like 9-4. I feel like is a safe bet. They're not beating Oregon on the road. Like that's not happening. So I figure a couple losses to Vanderbilt and Oregon. They beat Stanford.
Maybe Wyoming. That was the only other one that it'll be tough to play in.
Yeah, it's tough, man. So if I hate 6-2 in conference, I feel like it's a pretty good year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could see us going 3-2 in that non-conference first half of the schedule, and then getting out of conference with maybe just a couple of losses. So probably right around there, 9-4.
All right. And we got a little bit of consensus there. I like that. All right. We'll get out of here. Quick little 2-minute drill. Just want to give a huge shout out to our guy, Bobby Curran. Who's back on the airwaves. Yesterday was his first day back. Doing an hour in the mornings, trying to build it back up. He's been recovering well, and it's just nice to hear those great vocal takes of the smooth Bobby Curran, man. Always good stuff. So shout out to Bobby. All right, that'll do it for us, Hunter. Episode 100 in the books. I guess we'll be back at it next week, episode 101. We'll start the clock all over again.
There we go. It's crazy. Sounds good to me, man. Yeah, no, I guess my final words would be the Open Championship was fantastic. Brian Harmon, who is all of maybe 5'6", 5'5". Small guy. And for those that follow golf, the game has shifted to a power game, and whoever can hit it the furthest and get on the green as fast as possible usually bodes well for them. Pretty cool for the little guys. Go out there and show that execution, accuracy still has a place in the game. And for those that love golf, anytime the Open is on, it's a good time. So hats off to Brian Harmon. That was a job well done.
Yeah, it was quite impressive from a dude that's not I've seen him in person. He is not a big dude at all, but can swing it. That is good stuff. All right, big thanks once again. Excuse me, to Spectrum Mobile and HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union. Big shout out to Coach Chang as well for jumping on episode 100. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to our guy Jonathan on the controls, my man Hunter as well. We'll see you next week, episode 101. Camp will be underway. Season is upon us.
You've been listening to Hawai'i Football Now with Jordan Helly and Hunter Hughes, all from ESPN Honolulu.